for Foos. Welcome, everybody. Butch Escobar right here.
Hey.
Just here, man. We just got back from a lot of places, seen a lot of people, smoked a lot of stuff, drank a lot of stuff, ate a lot of stuff. You know, man, friends come and go, man. But if you shit on your pants and people and your friends are there when they're long gone, all they're going to remember is you shit on your pants.
You're just a pants shit.
And now that you owe them $100.
Right. Yeah, that's actually true. I remember that time you shit your... That's right. Oh, my God. That's me. Never mind.
You know, I've shitted on my pants, but not like where people notice.
Right.
And it was at a place where at a crack house, so it's normal. I shit like it was like because I have not eaten anything, and then I farted, but it was one of those where it was like when it was like there will be blood, you know, like when I farted, tools came out and miners the whole crane came down, bro, and miners were hurt.
We're going there now.
Miners were hurt.
I have
like if I was laying down, bro. It was like east of Eating, James Dean.
No.
It was, bro. I struck oil, bro. Yes, bro. Like the Exxon Valdez. Because I'm not eating in 3 days, and no, actually not east of Eating. I'm muy giant. Because there's about an oil rig, you know. Man, just call me Rockefeller, bro.
There Will Be Blood was a good reference.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Hi, I've got 4 wells drilling in Signal Hill, and I got 4 building in Lost Hills, bringing in 200 barrels. I got the equipment. I got the men. This is my son, Deaf Boy, and I can see I run a family business here.
You watched this whole movie?
Yeah.
And you liked it? See, that's I watched a quarter of it.
I watched it because I
couldn't get through it.
I got into when we did a lot of the names we did from Venice on the oil one.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's the thing is that we talked about it later, and you're like, oh, it's about L.A. Yeah. And so I want to see it again, and maybe now that I understand. I like sometimes movies.
Me and my partner Fremont.
Dude, I think I have a Daniel Day-Lewis aversion. I love the guy as an actor because there's like as Butch the what's his name in
McLeod?
No.
Cassidy?
When he plays Butch the Butcher.
Yeah.
I love him in that role, right? I love him in a lot of roles that he does. But like Lincoln was another movie.
Heathens.
Lincoln and fucking There Will Be Blood. It was like he's so complicated to watch that
my left foot.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch the movies. I couldn't understand. Like Lincoln, I couldn't understand what the fuck they were talking about. I was like, and I wasn't even high when I watched that shit. I was like, I don't even understand this lingo. And then I felt the same thing with There Will Be Blood. Like there was a lot of like, because he uses the vernacular that they used back then. And it is really hard to understand sometimes. Like the way that the old timey talk, I guess.
Maybe that's why you like Norm Macdonald's joke about Lincoln.
Yeah, what
he says that we had that speech, right? No.
Yeah, he talks like this, right.
Abraham Lincoln, right? You know Abraham Lincoln, right? He was a brother. You know, he got shot watching Kill Tony. You know. Anyways, so he got shot in the back of the head. You know. Yeah. No, Lincoln, man. When he said 4 years, really 4 years. So he had Norm Macdonald the whole bit about it. That's who said 4 years, and really what's next? Odd 9. But
exactly. Yeah.
So he said 4 years. He goes, why don't you say 19, 18, man, or 18?
18. Yeah.
He really thought they were gonna catch on, huh?
Why don't you just say the fucking number of years, dog?
Dog.
Yeah, seriously. I feel that.
I think a lot of rednecks, bro, back in America, growing up, were not educated like the ones now. You know, a lot of white people.
Right.
They were not reading books.
Right.
So like they don't understand words, bro. Like they don't understand like because they were barbarians, bro. They don't understand words like you can't tell them. They don't like you tell them forgive your brother. They don't know what forgive means, bro.
Right.
They don't know what forgive means.
Right.
So you have to grab their hatchet and bury it in the ground. That means forgive.
Right.
Because I remember one time I was watching Dukes of Hazzard, and Bo and Luke were fighting, and then Uncle Jesse came up and punched both of them. Come on, guys, bury the hatchet. And they didn't know numbers. Like white people didn't know numbers growing up, bro.
I think
they didn't know numbers. Like you couldn't tell them, give me a quarter, or give me 25 cents.
Right.
They don't know what that is.
Right.
So just give me 2 bits.
Right. There was like slang terms and everything. I think that's the reason why we have more common talk now, because I think like back in the day, books were written for rich people, or like, you know, there was like entertainment was geared towards mostly like rich people and stuff like that. So the vernacular was more for them, and then the more educated common people got, the more like the common language became for us, and you started to see it in books. You started to see it in different places because capitalism rules. I mean, you know, if you're gonna sell books and only 1% of the population speaks the language of your book, versus like, you know, the rest, you're gonna make, you know, a more layman term type book. So
man,
I think that's why we have layman speak that comes into the frame a little bit more. But
the Webster's Dictionary.
It's weird because when you look at layman speak back then, even like, you know, what we're working on here, Paul Revere, like he stole. This is totally not part of this thing, so I'll say it. He stole a piece of art from someone and redid it, and then the guy was a commoner, and the way the guy responded was like
a very eloquent letter he wrote to.
Actually, the guy was a commoner, so he wrote a dumb like you don't think, like it was like in our way of saying like, what's up, bro? You don't think that you fucking with me is gonna fuck my shit up? I'm gonna go fucking blast you for what you did to me. Like that's kind of his version of. I don't have it in front of me. But
I read that letter, and it was actually very very gentleman letter.
Right? Yeah.
Like, without saying like you rat. But it was more like when somebody steals your meme.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he said the guy said something like it was in that YouTube video I perused.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So he said, though I find it an honor that you will use, not take, very important.
Right.
Because you don't want to disrespect a guy that was higher than him. Because Paul Revere outclassed that motherfucker.
Right.
So he can't be speaking out of turn or out of school.
Well, Paul Revere is like, it's like if I wrote a letter to Bill Burr for stealing my joke. You know, like how would I approach him without like offending him and making him like, how would I accuse him? How would I say, hey, like let's say I did have a direct line to Bill Burr, which I don't, and he did one of my bits on TV.
You will call up Dean Del Rey first. He has Mark Maron's number, Bill Burr.
Yeah, you'd have to call up around people. Yeah.
Like, you know, see how you said Bill Burr?
Right.
He's closer to him. He says, "Well, me and Burr."
Right. You go to Burr, and that's.
But how you're not like him. You're not in a relationship with him like that.
Right.
So you could just say me and Burr, or me and Cook.
Dude, you know what's crazy is that
me and Jeselnik.
Like how your work is at work, and how even we are in comedy. There's a hierarchy, right? And there's an unspoken hierarchy, Like I can't just go up to a famous comic and be like, "Hey, I'm Butch Escobar. What's up? I'm a comic." You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's gonna be nice to me, but in the back of his mind, he's gonna be like, "What a fucking jackass," and he might not fuck with me. But if I go up and I'm like, "Hey," you know, and I have a conversation, there's an approach, right? And that's the thing, is that in regular society, because that's the thing in society now, we don't have to approach so much when we talk to other people, like I don't really have to. But back then, your status meant everything. Your status was, so if this guy were to just go off half cocked on fucking Paul Revere, who's a famous patriot, he's gonna look badly on it. So that's why he's like, you're right. He's like, I find it an honor that you would use my piece.
You know, weird. Did you find it?
Yeah, this is it. Right?
Weird, Butch.
When I heard that you were cutting a plate of the late murder, I thought it impossible, as I knew you was not capable. See, he says you was not capable of doing it unless you copied it from mine And as I thought, I had entrusted it in hands of a person who had more regard to the dictates of honor and justice than to take the undue advantage you have done of the confidence and
Wait,
trust.
man, who's this open mic here right now? Writing with this long ass letter where he should be writing jokes.
Exactly. That's probably what Revere did. He goes, who the fuck is this pissant open micer?
I'm gonna hire this guy.
Who's this open micer?
He ended up hiring him.
Bro, you're in the open micers of Patriots. Go fuck yourself, bro. I stole your lithograph. You're gonna suck my
He ended
dick.
up hiring that guy.
Yeah, he ends up. They work together.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah, they end up being friends.
Because of this cool letter, instead of just sending it with pure blood on it, and a written in beak.
It's like a bloody toenail.
Speaking of Paul Revere, bro, when I was growing up in the housing projects of Pico Aliso, shout out to Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. I saw him at the Dodger Stadium on Game 3, and I really thought that fool grew up in Aliso Village and grew up in Pico Gardens. He actually grew up in Dogtown.
Oh,
projects.
yeah, okay.
Shout out to him, man, Taboo. He grew up in Dogtown projects, and Will.i.am grew up in the Estrada Courts projects in Boyle Heights, and Fergie grew up in Hacienda Heights probably area because her parents used to hang out at the Sunset Room, right, to do comedy at. So yeah, man. So he was, I think what's the name, was bused to a different school. But back then there was like so many people. Our schools were overcrowded in Los Angeles. So they started busing kids to other neighborhoods, right?
Right.
So they so there's a Paul Revere Junior High School over here in the Valley, and man, black people, man, black kids and brown kids from all over Los Angeles started getting bused to Paul Revere Junior High School, and then for high school they were getting bused to Pacific Palisades High School in the beach, right?
Ooh, nice.
So I thought it was ironic that Paul Revere was yelling out, "The redcoats are coming! The redcoats are coming!" And when they were busing the black kids and the Mexican kids to Paul Revere Junior High School, you know, man, white people were yelling out, "The N-words are coming! The beaners are coming! Everyone else is coming! Everyone else is coming!"
There's like a Paul Revere wait, where's the Paul Revere school at?
It's like the history revealed himself.
What city is this school in?
I don't know. Run this
But yeah. There's a white guy riding around on a golf cart.
Yeah, bro, with a MAGA flag.
In the Palisades.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Paul, that's the thing, man, is like, out of all the history we've done and I've read, I feel like Paul Revere is like the most ordinary dude to have his name repeated over and over again. Like Paul Revere's, think about this, bro. There's schools named after this guy. There's songs about like, and he's mentioned in songs, you know, even in rap songs, you know, like this has to be, to me, one of the most infamous ordinary human beings.
And then I found out that, like, if you really, when you think about it, because at junior high school, Paul Revere, okay,
right,
it was named after a guy who just made silver.
That's it, really.
Because that was his biggest claim to fame.
Right. He never, bro. They didn't. The Midnight Ride of all
First
this.
mentioned that poem.
Okay, so it's a poem written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Was he really a Longfellow, or that was just another? another fucking history for the winners.
Well, take a look at my Longfellow. I can't remember what that movie quote was. Anyway.
He was a sharp fella.
So he wrote almost, I think, 80 years after Paul Revere's death, The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. And we all know it because we all had to listen to it in school. And I think everybody remembers the very beginning. Listen, my child, you may hear the story or Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, something like that, right? This is a 6-minute poem, by the way.
You said Midnight Rider?
Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. Wow,
man. It's funny because every time I would hear Midnight Rider,
like the Allman Brothers.
No, I think about Headless Horseman or some crazy midnight hour. It was bad stuff,
bro. That's the thing, is that I honestly thought, for some reason when I was a kid, I thought the poem about Paul Revere and the Headless Horseman by Ichabod Crane were the same thing. And it kind of like, and I got older and stuff. But yeah, dude, because you think about a Midnight Rider. Go back up there, dude, and look at that house, dude. Paul Revere's house is still there. Oh, you can't see it too well. Dude, I honestly like went you sort of keep going back right there. That's the best one, because if you look to the right, there's the scaffolding. So anyway, we went to Boston this weekend. I had the lovely opportunity to take the Freedom Trail through Boston. Holy fuck, bro. That was one of the funnest things. I think I'm kind of turning into a real like nerd now, because that was one of the funnest things. So go back to that. That's the Green Dragon.
Who's this redhead?
And this is where they decided to first like, hey, we're gonna get together and talk about a revolution. And go back to that video, bro. And in this video, I think they're playing. There's like dancing and shit. Like there's like all these college kids just drinking out of like fucking red cups and just getting fucked up. And I'm trying to like film like the shit on the wall. Like I'm there for history documentation purposes. Everybody else is there to fucking get roofied and fucked up and fucking.
Those are guns on the wall.
Yeah, those are the guns on the wall. I didn't get to do much, and I honestly don't know much about the Green Dragon. I heard that that's not even the original, but I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I got to do the Freedom Trail. That shit was interesting,
so
but I mostly was there for the Paul Revere stuff.
So what I know that if I'm Paul Revere, besides the N-words are coming and the Mexicans are coming,
He didn't say that actually.
What?
The N-words are coming in the MX.
No, it was like the people that lived around Paul Revere Junior High.
I know.
Oh man, do you have that bag from that bag right there? What's up, everybody? Last week I was at the Comedy Store and I saw Butch Escobar there, and I was there with Annie.
Lederman.
It was Annie Lederman's show?
It was Annie Lederman's show, right?
Annie Wood, man.
Oh, Annie Wood. Okay.
And I want to give a shout out. You don't have to open it and show people. Shout out to the Quiet Kings.
Fuck yeah, dude. Tyler.
Very cool guys, man.
Backstage Tyler.
And this is their brand right here, the brand of cannabis. They're just a bunch of cool fools, man.
Yeah, we love
trying
them.
to make it in the cannabis world.
Love
and
the
they're
shit out of you guys.
And shout out to Monterey. I think I've been to this place in
Wave
Monterey.
Rider. Yeah.
It's by the ocean. So if you ever go to Monterey, California, hit them up. And if you're ever in LA, I don't know if they foods have their own brand. Oh, their brand, their stuff is right there outside the Comedy Store.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, man. Go check them out. Google them. Tell them you heard it here. You can have that for you.
Jesus
and
Christ,
then we're good.
Dude.
Yeah,
This weighs almost a pound.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
I put a shoe in it, bro.
Oh my goodness, dude! It's just heaven in a bag. Huh? Don't take it out.
No.
Yeah, I know. Boy, you guys have no idea. Thank you, bro. Holy fuck, dude.
The green coats are coming.
The green coats are coming. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Quiet Kings. Also, shout out to Ray's Barbecue Detailing and Ray Balls, and Suzanne for your donos again, dude. You guys actually paid for all of this. I had to download a bunch of stuff for the tour, and then I had to pay for museum stuff and everything. And then also the book that I read for this thing. You guys made it all possible for me, so thank you very much for that. And then back to Paul Revere.
Anyway. Oh man. You want to know what I know about Paul Revere? Is that I revere him.
You revere him.
I know that what I know is that from listen what I learned on you did the Freedom Trail, but I did the tour inside the cart, inside back in 2011, 2001.
Okay.
I went to I took to the actual Boston tour with the tour guide talking. Over here we have.
Yeah, you got in the bus and everything.
Yeah, over here we have Paul Revere.
Right. Yeah.
And the guy said, and he said that that what's his name, Paul Revere, he didn't finish that ride. He said that he got drunk and he hit a tree and he fell down.
That's not true,
but that's what he said, because because he said other books will tell you this and that, but he was connected to a historian, so he said he wrote him in there as the guy who finished the run.
Well, that's.
He said that Sam Beckett or Sam Adams was the one that actually came out, and they were not even yelling the redcoats are coming.
No, they were saying the regulars.
Yeah, and what else? But on that book, on that little quick thing I found out was that he did the run on the wrong night too, the first time.
So that we're gonna talk about that.
He said he did it on the wrong night, and there was different. It's funny, man. Like when you find out these things, like okay, there's the Continental Army, of course. There's the people, the frontiermen with their long rifles that were pretty much one of the best sniping guns, better than anything the British had.
Right.
And
so what you're talking about is, and this is where I was fascinated by this. First of all, Paul Revere did this run a fuck ton of times.
There's a lot of armies, right? And there's a lot of volunteers, but I would find it impossible they could just be one guy running in one section of this area. There must have been different runners from different sides of the area, right? But he just became the famous one because of that guy's poem.
Well, yes, and that's the thing is, first of all, the guy who wrote the poem was inspired by the story when he went to go visit the old church. But that's not the end of it. His grandfather served in the military with Paul Revere after Paul Revere's run. Paul Revere did this run, and we're going to talk about it, but he wasn't famous for it afterwards. Like, people didn't know that this was a thing. He didn't become famous for it until the poem came out.
Yeah, and then I've heard that his name just fit better in the poem.
And his name, because there's actually 3 guys that were very, and two that were more effective than Paul Revere in a way.
Because there was a word in the poem was called Manier, and you were looking for a word, so you said Revere.
Right. Well, his grandfather also served with him, and his grandfather talked to him a lot. And so I've heard 2 accounts that his grandfather served with him, but I also heard an account that his grandfather was in charge of him. And it was during a battle that actually went really badly. And his grandfather gave Revere an order, and Paul Revere was like, I'm fucking Paul Revere, bitch. Like, you can't give me no orders. And then he was held for trial for it, and he was exonerated because they were like, yeah, he is Paul Revere. So there's those 2 accounts, but his grandfather definitely, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's, who wrote the poem, The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, his grandfather served with him. And the name was a lot easier on the lips because there's also William Dawes, Dawes, who did the run with him, also gets caught. But the key is that right before they get caught, they meet up with a doctor who knows all the back roads.
Doctor who?
And his name is Dr.
Sam Beckett.
Samuel Prescott. And Samuel Prescott rolls up on them. What's up, homies? What are y'all doing? Oh, we're just letting everybody know the fucking regulars are coming, because that's what they would say.
Can I tell you something, bro?
Yeah.
I've never met anybody named Prescott that wasn't shit.
There's no like homeless Prescott.
No, bro. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
There's no William Prescott that works at 7-Eleven.
There's no Salvadorian guy named Prescott. And that's a common name, bro. And if he is, he's probably in that prison right now, bro. With big old tattoos. And they call it, hey, Pichi Prescott.
Prescott's in Seacott.
Bro, I swear to God, bro. My boss at this place When I was working, bro, I was working 11 hours a day. His name was Prescott. And let me tell you, bro, everybody pronounced that shit right.
Right.
He just called everybody Juan.
Was he Prescott? every Mexican was Juan.
He was a cool boss, bro. He learned Spanish brokenly, and he took give everybody in the produce department. We were loading produce like every truck had orders from all the restaurants all over Southern California. So this guy would have this guy needs 10 boxes of apples, 10 ounce tomatoes, and then they just deliver, and then we'll stack it all up. But every Saturday night, anybody can give him $20.
Okay.
And you get a regular box. You can fill it up with whatever you want.
Oh, nice. Prescott was a real dude then. You could call me Juan all day if you give me free food.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So there was,
hi, I'm Juan. Can I have some more of that?
So we're talking about, bro, the $20 included anything they had in that produce place. Bananas, fucking crescent nuts, fucking you name it, corn, tomatoes, heirloom, whatever. Also, they have cakes, zucchini cakes and carrot cakes.
Oh my god!
So you know me, bro. I took a zucchini cake and a carrot cake, bro.
Those are fucking so good, bro.
It was a big mistake, bro. My
really?
family ate around everything when man, they ate that motherfucker, bro.
They killed it. Yeah.
And everybody had a knife all of a sudden.
Good for William Prescott, dude. See,
anyways,
his family
get back to
members
that
out here doing things. Anyway, so Prescott's this dude who's a doctor, and he's also a really good horseman. Which, by the way, that's the thing is Paul Revere was a great horseman. But anyway, that's the thing is he rolls up on them, and the three of them are kind of riding together. And he's like, "What are you guys up to tonight?" And they're like, "We're letting everybody know that the Redcoats." Actually, they didn't say the Redcoats; they would say the regulars are coming. And so that at that time they get rolled up on by 4 different Redcoats, and they're like, "Fucking stop right now!" And William Doss actually gets away, but he gets caught later on. No, sorry, he gets caught with him, but they let him go. And then William Prescott gets away. He hops over a fence and bounces. And he's the guy who gets the word out. So if there should be a poem about anybody, it should be William Prescott. But Dawes worked hard, bro. That's the thing is Dawes was a real dude.
And do you know about the guy that actually took the longest ride? He had a super ethnic name, and there's
yes, it was Israel something.
Hungberg.
But yeah, the guy, he took a longer, and that was the thing is there's a bunch of dudes that had, so the other thing was, man, is that there was guys that saw them riding around and sent the word anyway. So there is a hard belief amongst scholars, yes, that there wasn't a need for this anyway, because the Redcoats were so out there and the rebels were ready to fuck shit up that it wouldn't have been a big jump from being forewarned to not being forewarned, because everybody was at angst at that point. Dude, we're talking about a part of history where there's a rebellion, the Tea Party happens, King George gets pissed, tries to instill a bunch of rules, and then the rebels get more pissed and say fuck that, and then they go, okay, well, we're gonna just send troops. So he sends 4,000 troops, and that's the thing is that you think that this is New England, that there's already redcoats everywhere. It's not. We're actually on our own out here. We have a little bit of protection because of the 7 Years' War with the Indians, but we're not fucking, we don't have redcoats everywhere. All of a sudden they show up, and this is an invasion almost, and these people are pissed, and so they're ready to fight these guys to begin with, and they're ready to they're ready to get their own sovereignty, and so there's not a jump in. That's the thing is, this is the least important thing that kind of happened. I'll be honest with you. What Felipe was talking about earlier was how he made a mistake the day before, right?
But they stole those guns.
So here's what happens: is the Redcoats come in 4,000 strong, and they're told by King George. I know, I saw the ghost do that, dude. I saw the ghost. It was a ghost, bro. It was a ghost.
It's my father, bro, telling me that I should have kept that job.
You need the real man's watch.
I spoke with Prescott for 2 hours about you.
That was the ghost of
to
Prescott.
do me a favor for you get that job, and you quit after the first payday.
I remember the carrot cake. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Okay.
The wrong call.
The wrong call. So what had happened is that King George was like, hey.
King George was like very not good businessman, huh?
King George was not a good businessman, but also the guy in charge of the Redcoats.
Can I tell you something about King George?
Yes, totally.
There's a scene I saw, bro, in this movie with Ed Hardy called Taboo. It was a 2-part series.
Okay.
It was very false. But there's a scene where King George loses this, and because they're telling him what he owes, that fool stands up, bro, and pushes everybody and kicks whoever's doing his feet in the face like that for just to, like
just to be a dick.
He kicked the guy first. He pushed Scroll, and then he pushed somebody else to let him to exert power. He said, "We are Great Britain. We do all the collecting. We are not chased for what we owe. We do the chasing."
Right. Yeah, that's the attitude.
So you was telling that motherfucker, bro, you go tell those fucking colonies in America, those fucking colonies in Havana,
right?
The fucking colonies in wherever in Jamaica, wherever the fuck the Great Britain was,
right?
Get that cash.
The 26 colonies,
and then we owe fucking. I guess there's still a greater money they owe somebody for a war, but we pretty much thought we'll go to war with you too.
So Great Britain was saying like, hey, you owe us money for all the times we defended you against Indians, and so we need to tax you. And so we're going to do the Stamp Act. And the Stamp Act was like any document, any piece of paper that you wrote on had a tax to it. And the Americans were like, fuck that. And
well, you owe for that, bro, right now.
In these times, it would be about $15.
In those times, it would be a lot, huh?
It would be a lot. Yeah, it'd be about $15 now. So they're like, fuck that, dude. And then what happens is they go, okay, well, we're going to take the Stamp Act away. And we're going to put in the Townsend Act. And the Townsend Act is all these taxes on everything. That doesn't work. So then King George says, fine, I'm going to only do a tea tax. And in fact, the tea is going to be cheaper for the citizens. But what happens is people like John
Adams,
Hancock, and you're right, John Adams and Samuel Adams, those guys have underground tea rings that they buy tea from the Dutch that was less than the tax tea that was coming in. And the reason why Britain wants to start sending tax-free tea to America because the Indian Trading Company, which is state-owned, is falling apart and needs money. And so all these leaders of society are like, hey, you're taking away my money now by sending free tea over here. So that's why the Tea Party happens. These guys dress up like Indians and go and invade the boat.
And they were going to get taxed for that tea anyways, huh?
Right, yeah, and the tea was going to be cheaper, but it was 19,000 pounds of tea, like not 19,000 European pounds, like 19,000 metric pounds of tea into the water, or weight of tea, not metric, weight of tea.
What was that worth back then?
I think it was like $4 million worth of tea.
And nobody
in our time now. And so the fucking English government was like, you owe us for that tea, and if you don't fucking pay us, you can't get anything else. So they blockade the fucking waterways to Boston. They start fucking pressuring people. That's when you have the Boston Massacre happen. And there's propaganda, bro. Now there's propaganda because there's loyalists versus Americans or patriots or the rebels, and they're the rebels. So like, things happen like the Boston Massacre. You know how many people died in the Boston Massacre?
1.
5.
Well, there was a black person who died too.
Right, 1 black person. But 5 isn't a fucking massacre in my mind, Like 100 people is a massacre, 50 people. Like Jonestown's a fucking massacre. But it was called a massacre because it's like Fox News or CNN now. Like the attempted assassination.
Like a school shooting should be called a school massacre.
Right, that's a massacre.
Yeah, that was a fucking fucking unrest, people that are not civilized who got shot.
Dude, these are people throwing fucking rocks
And caca, bro. And
at soldiers. And one of them freaked out and fired a shot. And then the rest fired a shot and 5 people died. Dude, I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying, like, that was the propaganda at the point. People were sick of the British. And the propaganda was bought easily. And who put out the propaganda? John Adams, Samuel Adams, fucking John Hancock, like fucking and actually Paul Revere made that lithograph, right? So yeah, you have all these people that are pissed. They're like, get the fuck out of here. And so it wasn't hard, but what had happened, now I'm getting to the point. I'm sorry, I went off the topic a little bit. So the British are coming, and instead of attacking the
Paul
people,
Revere, by hope.
Instead of attacking the people, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, go back to that picture for a minute.
Bob Hope, bro.
So instead of attacking the people, he tells Gage, the commander of the British military, to just go and grab all their weapons out of their stashes. So they go to one place and they take the weapon stash out of everything. They take the powder. And it freaks out the rebels even more because now they're like, oh, fuck, they're going to get all our stashes. And so there's a rumor going around that they're going to take the Fort William and Mary stash. And so Paul Revere rides out and lets everybody know they're going to take this stash. You guys better get this stash before the rebels get to the stash. And this is an important moment because what happens is that the rebels go and they take down Fort William and Mary, and they secure the stash. No one was ever coming to take the stash. So the first move, the first real assault of the Revolutionary War was actually the taking of Fort William and Mary. So fucking Paul Revere's fuck up led to us kind of making the first move, which pissed off the fucking redcoats, which ended up this whole fight, which ended up Paul Revere having to go back out the next night and spreading the rumor. So that's where Paul Revere kind of fucked up, but it did lead to our independence. It led to everything that's happening right now. But nobody knows about those moments. Nobody knows about William Doss or William Prescott. What's his name?
Yeah, those are names.
Okay. And no one knows about those guys because this was just a poem by a guy who was famous already. He was already the guy who wrote the poem was already famous. He was like 50 when he wrote this poem. And and that's not to say that fucking Paul Revere didn't have a significance in our history. He had a huge significance in our history. It's just we're reading around about the wrong significance. And we're not reading about and like you said, Felipe, like there was this was a network because Paul Revere worked for a network. It was like the CIA at the time. It was a network of spies. So anyway, yeah, so that's that part. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too though, is like so like when they rode out to warn everybody about the stashes and the redcoats are coming, there was some cool stuff in there like about how like the guy that was in charge, the general that was in charge of the redcoat military, Gage, he married a lady who was an American, who like comes her.
So they got engaged.
Her family has been around since the 1600s in America, and she is probably the person that warned Samuel Adams about the.
You send it to yourself right here.
About what was gonna happen. So she kind of dropped secrets because she was like, dude, I don't want a lot of my countrymen to die.
Paul Revere, by the way, he was a silversmith. And
Right.
his father was a silversmith. And they make silver and things. I read one sentence. His father passed away. So he had to take care of the family business.
Right.
But back then, you had to be like a journeyman and an apprentice to move up to become and run your own silversmith. So therefore ended up getting a job with somebody else and then became the journeyman, and then he got his brother to be his little assistant.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Kept it on the family.
And-
But he what's his name? Never was in battle, by the way, Paul Revere.
No, never.
And the people that we're supposed to battle with, they told them, it's like they got a call and said, you know what, man, as I don't get no pleasure in telling you guys this, but fuck all you guys, go back home. And then he said, what the fuck am I gonna do? They don't need me in battle. I'm a silversmith. So the fool started getting into making ammunition.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
But not everybody wanted to teach ammunition because they knew that teaching somebody ammunition is like giving him a lightsaber. Now he's a Jedi.
Right. He had to go around and like steal information and like slowly become one.
Yeah.
Paul Revere was like a jack of all trades. He also
He was
had
a jack of all. He was a blacksmith too.
yeah, blacksmith, dental. He did dental work. He did the dental work for the great Joseph Warren.
Not the great George Washington, by the way.
No, that was a rumor.
Yeah, the rumor.
But he did
By another poem written by a dentist.
there are still 26 bells that Paul Revere made because he also made bells. He was, when he was a silversmith, there are 26 bells that Paul Revere made himself that are still in circulation, that are still in like churches and stuff. One of them is at the Granary Church where he was buried, and I did send in one of my pictures pictures of Paul. That's the bell that's right outside of his house. But Paul Revere's family still makes metal products. And I think it's Paul Revere III that is in charge of, watch. Okay. This is going to be, there's Paul Revere's grave back there. That's Paul Revere's grave. Very small, very insignificant, not a big deal. Right? That's Paul Revere, yeah. When you go on that, the granary, which is most of the famous people, go back to that one grave. That one right there, and then go back to the one before that. That one right there, that's John Otis. Like his family ended up making Otis elevators later on. Either that's John Otis or Samuel Adams, I can't remember. But Paul Revere, those were all people known. Paul Revere didn't get known, and part of the problem is that he wanted to be considered like a lowly worker. He could have been a gentleman at some point and very like prominent, but he stayed out of prominence. And that's why he didn't get a big role in government at the end when the Revolutionary ended, and George Washington started out handing out like jobs to everybody. Paul Revere didn't get one because he wanted to just be a regular dude.
He wanted to make swords.
Yeah, he wanted to make swords and metal products and stuff, and he had decent business, but he died of old age.
80-something.
Yeah, he's a hero who died of old age, who didn't, and that's why I like this
even
guy.
A member of Congress, nothing, huh?
Nothing, bro. That's why I like him, because he's an ordinary dude.
Just like Ben Franklin.
Yet his name is fucking everywhere. Everywhere there's Paul Revere stuff, and even I was reading at the end of the book that there's a Paul Revere pizza, on the East Coast that talks about how fast they are. But anyway, so yeah,
show that picture of Butch Escobar studying for history for Foos at the hockey game.
What a fucking nerd.
I gotta get this fucking game, man.
Well, Johnny bought tickets. The one of the other comics that we were with is hey, he surprised us with tickets to the Bruins game. And I'm like, I got work to do. So I was like, I'll go, but just know I'm going to be buried in my notebook. And there I am, being a good studious podcaster, learning about Paul Revere.
We went duck pin bowling for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Southie Bowl.
Southie Bowl, dude.
Man. We went bowling, duck pin bowling.
Let me see if I can.
Southie Bowl. Oh, that's me right there, man. Duck pin bowling. The winner gets to sit on that.
Yeah. Yeah, duck pin bowling. Explain duck pin bowling to everybody.
Duck pin bowling, you see that bar right there? It's made out of solid wood.
Right.
And you get, not like regular bowling when you only get two bows. On this one, you get 3 rows. And the pins are real thin, and they're duck pins, right?
Yeah, they're candlestick bowling, I think, or duck pin bowling. I think it's the same.
Yeah, they call it duck pin bowling.
But they're not your regular pin is like it's fat on the bottom and
Yeah.
thin on the top, right? Your regular bowling pin. These things are straight, pretty much straight. Yeah. See, there's a regular one, and look up candle pin. Just look up candle
Did we
pin.
do candle pin? We did candle pin, not duck pin, huh?
Yeah, we did candle pin.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Is there a difference?
Yeah, the duck pin one, it's like the regular bowling pin, but it's shorter and fat from the bottom, like my penis.
Yeah. See.
There it is. See there how everybody's long?
Yeah, see,
I'm short and fat.
Oh, duck pins are shorter versions
And fatter.
of the 10 pin and then candle. So we did candle pin. That's what we did.
That was
We
badass,
did,
though.
dude, that was so fun.
What's great, you get 3 tries. What's great about candlestick is that see how that thing is flat like that?
Yeah.
When it falls in front of the pins, all you gotta do is strike that pole
one
and
pin,
knock
yeah.
everything down.
Well, because the 10
I
pin,
learned that later.
and I'm sure the duck pin is the same way. They're made to, like, when you hit them, they'll like saucer out of the, and they might take a couple with them, but they move to the side when you hit them, right? The energy pushes the motion out. With candle pin, the energy just pushes them over. So you might get only 1 pin on your first roll, but if it lays horizontally flat across the rest of the pins and you hit that puppy, you knock them all out. And it's dude, it's so much funner than 10-pin bowling.
Yeah.
And you don't have to fucking stick your fingers in some warm hole in a fucking ball that's been used by everybody else. They're just these like wooden balls that fit in your hand. And like, yeah, and look at the size of the ball. It's fucking, it was one of the best times I've ever had bowling, bro. It was so fun. Boston was a great city.
Yeah, man.
It was a great city. Yeah, and shout out to Southie Bowl, which they let us go in. It was like an hour before they closed. The dude was pretty gracious. The fucking
You
shirts.
give me a free Diet Coke?
Yeah, dude. He gave me a bunch of free beers, dude. I got
He
drunk
did? He
that
gave you a
night.
free beer?
Yeah, he gave me like every other beer was like a free beer.
Really? That's nice of him.
Dude, I don't ever get ripped. You know that. I got fucking ripped.
That was a nice, cool place, man.
Yeah. It was a fun place to bowl. Enjoyed the fuck out of it.
So what else about Paul Revere, bro? He had kids?
Paul Revere had several kids.
He got
dude.
married twice.
He got married twice.
He had like 17 kids.
He had like
8 with the first one, huh?
right, yeah. And 6 of those died. And
Kids?
yeah, 6 of those kids died.
Of what? Mercury?
Well, I mean, people, dying was a lot easier to do back then. It sounds
That's
weird
right. When you
saying
were
that.
born, the doctor didn't wash his hands, bro.
Right, yeah, bro. People died all the time, but he lost 6 of his kids, and he still had 8 with that lady. And then when she died, that was Sarah. And then he ended up marrying Rachel, and Rachel he stayed with for 40 years, and he had 2 more kids with her. He had 2 boys. One he named after Joseph Warren because Joseph Warren was his best friend. And Joseph Warren is someone we should talk about a little bit because Joseph Warren was his best friend. And Joseph Warren would actually, like, if Paul Revere was going to reach any fame and become a part of Congress, it would have been Joseph Warren that had recommended him. Because Paul Revere didn't really know the Adams brothers. He didn't know Samuel or John Adams. He didn't really know John Hancock all that well. But him and Joseph Warren were like really good friends. And Joseph Warren became a general in the military of the Continental Army. And he could have chilled back and been a regular person and gave orders, but he wanted to be with his men during the battle. And during the Battle of Bunker Hill, he was shot in the face. And he was so well known and so well hated by the Redcoats that they fucking bayoneted his face until it was his whole body was unrecognizable. And the only way that they could tell that it was him was they had Samuel Adams come in and identify the body through the teeth.
Smell my beer.
Not Samuel Adams. I'm sorry. Paul Revere. He had Paul Revere. Paul Revere did Joseph Warren's teeth. Yeah. Oh, is that his skull?
Yeah, look at it. Knocked out his teeth.
Bro, they fucked him up, dude. Yeah, they fucked him up. Like, dude, that war, reading about the battles.
Did that to him?
Yeah.
He was
that was the Battle of Bunker Hill, which was insane, dude.
So they didn't retreat, they didn't surrender, huh? So that
no, and here's the thing about the Battle of Bunker Hill was like,
how many Americans were lost? Lot,
Dude,
huh?
this is great. This is a good one, dude, because we lost the Battle of Bunker Hill, but it actually gave us more of a boost because
The papers,
well,
the propaganda.
because even though we retreated and lost Bunker Hill ultimately, it was the first time that we got to show ourselves and the Redcoats what we could do, and we retreated, and that's how we lost. But we killed 226 British versus our 115 Americans, and we wounded, and the British only wounded 828 of our guys. Or no, I'm sorry, we wounded 828 of their guys, and took and captured a bunch, but they captured none of our guys, and we wounded 300, and we only had 335 wounded versus their 828. So overall, we did great in the battle, which after the Battle of Bunker Hill is, because prior to this whole fighting was to see if maybe we could reconcile and work something out with Great Britain to where they could still control us, but we were autonomous. Taxation without representation. Have you ever heard that? That comes from this era, and that's and the reason why that was
which is opposite of what we have now. We have taxation with
representation. Right. But that was the thing, was that the king was making all these decisions, the parliament was making all these decisions for Americans, and there was no one representing America over there. And they were like, we'll represent for you, don't worry. And these guys were like, no, we want to represent ourselves. We want representation. They weren't saying we want out of the royalty. We were just saying we want to be represented from here. And what happened is after the Battle of Bunker Hill, the royalty said, fuck you guys. You're just a bunch of rebels and we're going to kill all of you. And that's when we were like, okay, well, we got to fucking fight battles now. And so the Battle of Bunker Hill let us know, like, we can fight. And then that's when we become a mishmash of, like some guys who knew how to fight, some guys who didn't. Nobody was wearing uniforms, to blue uniformed officers, because George Washington then comes in the fold, and he takes command. And that's the thing, is Warren would have been somebody special. He would have been signing the Declaration of Independence too, had he not died, which would have made Paul Revere someone would have given Paul Revere a better job than he had. But that's the thing, man, was like, the Bunker Hill was also a hinge point for us, because that was the point of where we were no longer like, we want to be part of the royalty. We just want to be equal part to, like, we're going to be our own fucking country. And that's where they fucked up, is because they were like, you know what? Fuck you, America. We're just going to kill all you guys and take back our territory. And we were like, fuck, no, you're not. Now we're going to be our own fucking country. And so that's...
They were like the best army at the time. So it's like they were like fighting off.
This is the thing that I'm not trying to get political here, but I am going to say this. How do you look at, like, what's happening now and you go, these uniformed guys are coming in and doing fucked up shit to people, and it's run by a government that has a ton of money, and that is the elite military and group in the world, right? And it's a tale as old as age, right? Where it's like this formidable group that has all this money, that has all these military people fighting these asymmetric warriors with fucking different guns, different like styles of fighting, and yet the asymmetric, dude, that's what Star Wars is about.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm wondering is, if you're watching history right now, how are you looking at the side with the uniforms going like, that's the good guy? Because our own history tells us that even
they just changed the red coats to mega hats. Red mega hats.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, is that's what I'm trying to get at, is like, dude, how do you not look at like this huge group?
So you're saying the British infiltrators right now.
Right, yeah. The British are the and that's the thing, bro, is how do you look at a group that had a ton of money, had all the dude, they were the might of the world. They were the might of the world. They fucked up China. China just is barely getting its shit back, like in the last few decades, from what the British did to China like hundreds of years ago. So this small group of 13 colony people take down this whole fucking army and win, and we become this great country. How do you not look at that history and go, oh, that's history. Let's not fucking repeat that. Let's not repeat that again. But who am I, man? I'm just a fucking dumb guy fucking doing a fucking history podcast.
History for Fools, Paul Revere, Sam Adams.
Yeah, dude. So that's the thing, man, is like this again. I love the story of Paul Revere because he's a fucking ordinary dude. And then he goes on to be an ordinary dude. He
Stays an ordinary dude.
Huh?
And stays an ordinary dude.
And stays an ordinary dude. But he's the most synonymous person you could think of. Like I would like
dentist, blacksmith, silversmith.
Fuck all that. His name is everywhere now. Yeah, exactly. He was he was a guy like anybody else in LA or New York, fucking working a ton of jobs, just trying to fucking survive. And that's what I love about him. And he goes down, and that's the other thing is he never carried a weapon. Like, that was why they had to let him go. When they caught him, they had to let him go because he didn't have a weapon. He wasn't trying to fight. Like, he didn't pick up an arm ever. Like, fucking, he was riding, and they were like, and actually what he said was, look, dude, you guys, that's the other thing is Paul Revere had balls, bro. Because when they pull him over and the other two guys bounce, he stays. And they go, what's your name? He goes, Paul Revere. And even though they didn't know what he looked like, everybody knew who Paul Revere was back then because he was like writing dispatches. You talk about the stuff.
He was in charge of like almost like postman before postman, huh? Sending runners with letters.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, he was the express, and so one of the first things that he was known for was delivering the Suffolk Resolves, which
What?
is the Suffolk Resolves.
Well, what's up?
Which they were a document written up by Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and John Adams, basically saying like, we're not going to follow your fucking rules. Here's the rules we're willing to follow. And so the Suffolk Resolves was written by the First Continental Congress and sent to King George to say, look, we want to be cool with you guys, but your rules are fucked up, and here's the rules that we're willing to follow. And then King George sent it back and was like, I don't like that. And go fuck. And that's kind of the beginning of everything, was him turning down the Suffolk Resolves. But Paul Revere was known for delivering the Suffolk Resolves. Suffolk Resolves. And God, it's such a hard word to say for me. But
just say Hancock then.
So yeah, like he was known for that. So when he was stopped by those guys, I always keep wanting to say when he was stopped by the cops, but when he was stopped by the redcoats, he was like, I'm fucking Paul Revere. And then the guy goes, well, you better fucking start talking because I'm going to blow your brains out. And Paul Revere was like, and he literally said, I'm going to blow your brains out. And he slaps him with a pistol. And Paul Revere goes, you do what you got to do, big boy. And this is me paraphrasing now. But my homies are around the corner. And if you want to fuck with me, dude, you want to fucking take me as your prisoner, and my homies catch you with me as your prisoner, you're going to fucking die. And so they end up letting him go. They're like, well, just take his horse.
Really? I thought they were going to tickle me to death.
Yeah. So again, man, this dude's a badass, dude. Fucking Paul Revere. Shout out to Paul fucking Revere, dude.
Fucking Paul Revere Junior High School.
But I'll tell you, man, I really got into all this. I'm going to, it'll be a long time before I do get to take a vacation or go on a trip on my own. But I'll be honest, dude. I kind of got obsessed with the American Revolution. We did a little bit before, but actually doing this kind of made me understand it a lot more.
Who are the Boys of Liberty?
Oh, the Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty was...
They were the pre of the revolution, huh?
Yeah, they were Masons, and they would get together.
They were sons of the people who built America at the beginning, huh?
Pretty much. Well, the thing is that if you weren't in the House of Lords, if you weren't an upper crust Englishman, then go fuck yourself. Well, these guys were like, all right, well, we're gonna start our own little thing, and it's gonna be in this place called the Green Dragon. And
you went there?
Yeah, I went to that. That's the video I showed you earlier. And they would chill in this pub, and they started the St. Andrew's version of the Masons, which is the Sons of Liberty as well. And so it was like Samuel Adams, John Adams, John Hancock were some of the most famous guys, Sons of Liberty. Andrew Jackson. Paul Revere was one of the early members of the Sons of Liberty, and they were started out of what are we gonna do here? You know, like that's the thing, man. Is like revolutions are started all the time, and when you think about a revolution, when you think about how revolutions start and how like, you know, they're just guys drinking in a bar, you know, and
At a pub, homie.
and talking about what fucking bothers them.
That's why we shouldn't let people gather together no more.
Well, yeah, that's. So that's the thing, man. Is I don't know if I could say anything like let this story and read this story, read the Paul Revere story, read the truth about Paul Revere. Let this story encourage and motivate you
To vote.
to do
Open
things,
your eyes.
save this country, dude. Because that's the thing, bro. Is like, I love our democracy. I love what we have here. It was amazing to learn, dude. Our fucking country's history is badass, bro. Like that's what I was gonna say. I want to go back on a vacation and just spend 2 or 3 days on the Freedom Trail, going in and out of all those museums and all those rad places. Like I would say, go to this, dude. Don't just sit here and listen to fucking podcasts. Like, do this. Go read this shit yourself. Be inspired.
Go
by
experience it.
Go experience it, because that was the thing, was standing in front of those buildings, standing like Johnny was like, because Johnny's from that area, and he was like, it's not a big deal to go to the house because there's not much there. And he's right. There wasn't much there to look at. And they don't even let you take pictures in there and anything. But being there and knowing that there's a guy, like that was the thing that got me though, bro, was that his house was ordinary. It was small. He had kids. He was a family man. And he was just going out having drinks with his buddies after work and talking about life and politics. And they decided to start a movement that turned into fucking the best country in the world, the world's superpower. Like, look at where we are now. And any of that shit could have been stopped had Paul Revere been stopped, had those guys been stopped. Because that was the thing, is that we do kind of, it's funny to say Paul Revere got caught, but he walked to John Adams and John Hancock and delivered the message anyway. You know, like all these little things, dude. Like, you know, what if the Battle of Bunker Hill didn't piss off King George and made King George go, you know what? Damn, they could fight. Let's actually work this out. Maybe we'd still be part of England, you know, like all these different things, man. But, you know, and that's why standing there watching, looking at all this, and it's funny because you look at Paul Revere's house and it's surrounded by modern buildings, you know, like but it's amazing to know that this was here. Someone stood in this house and prepared themselves. Dude, he could have died that night. Like, he was putting his life at risk. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't like, well, man.
He didn't do it for likes.
He didn't do it for likes, bro.
Or shout outs.
And he wasn't worried if his, you know, oh, if I come home, I'm going to see my kids. No, dude. He went out and that was the thing, was like, it was easy to get caught. The red coats were fucking everywhere. So, like,
The lobsters were everywhere.
Let this story inspire you and read more. If you guys have questions, message me. If you want me to make a video for your business, message me on my Instagram.
Thank you for the $60 that were sent right now on the live chat.
Yes, thank you for that right now.
History for Fools, man. I hope you liked last week's on the
Ybor City.
No, it's not Ybor City, bro.
Wait, what did we do last week?
It was last week they saw the Murderland.
Oh yeah, bro. We do so many podcasts. Bro, just tell me who does a fucking history podcast weekly. I listen to history podcasts all the time. They're like at the best bi-weekly, bro. Most of them are like every month they have a new subject. We have one every fucking week.
Hell yeah,
guys.
man. The last one was about John Holmes.
That's right, and his big ass dick.
Yeah, man. He should line up coke with it, and he would do it himself because he didn't want to share.
Thanks for watching, guys.